Have you ever wondered why a secret organization with access to alien technology would choose to drive around in what looks like your grandfather's old sedan? Or why Will Smith's character called it a piece of, well, you know. Today we're counting down 20 weird facts you didn't know about the Men in Black Ford LTD. And trust me, some of these will make you look at that plain black car in a whole new way. From secret buttons that defy the laws of physics to connections with real police departments, we're about to reveal everything about this seemingly ordinary car that's anything but. So buckle up, hit that like button if you're ready for some mind-blowing movie car secrets, and let's dive into the strangest facts about cinema's most deceptive vehicle. Number 20. The car was specifically chosen to look like a piece of junk. When the Men in Black production team went shopping for the perfect secret agent car, they didn't want something flashy. They didn't want something cool. They wanted something that looked terrible. Enter the 1986 Ford LTD Crown Victoria. This wasn't an accident. The filmmakers specifically chose this model because it was, in their words, the most boring, unremarkable car they could find. Think about it, if you're a secret organization hiding alien technology, what better disguise than a car that makes people look away? The LTD was already known for being the preferred vehicle of taxi companies, police departments, and elderly drivers who still wore driving gloves. It was the automotive equivalent of camouflage, hiding in plain sight by being aggressively ordinary. The production designers even made sure to pick the most common color combination, black with a beige interior. They wanted a car so forgettable that witnesses wouldn't remember seeing it. And here's the kicker. They succeeded so well that many viewers didn't even notice it was the same car throughout the movie until their second or third viewing. Number 19. The P.O.S. nickname was improvised by Will Smith. That famous line where Agent J calls the car a Ford P.O.S., not in the script. Will Smith came up with it during filming, and director Barry Sonnenfeld loved it so much he kept it in. But here's what most people don't know. Ford executives were actually on set that day. The moment Smith delivered the line, everyone froze. The Ford representatives looked less than pleased. There was genuine concern that Ford might pull their support from the film. But then something unexpected happened. One of the Ford executives started laughing. He reportedly said, "That's exactly what people call these cars anyway." The line stayed, and Ford even used it in their marketing, embracing the joke. They created promotional materials that said even aliens know Ford quality, with a winking reference to the P.O.S. line. It became one of the most memorable product placement moments in cinema history, a company allowing their product to be insulted on screen and turning it into a positive. The improvisation worked so well that it influenced how the car was portrayed in the sequels and animated series. Number 18. The red button actually had 37 different functions in the script. Everyone remembers the red button scene. Push it, and suddenly the car transforms into a high-speed tunnel-riding rocket. But did you know the original script had the red button doing 37 different things throughout the movie? The writers created an entire manual of red button functions that never made it to screen. Function number 12, invisible mode. Function number 23, time displacement for avoiding traffic. Function number 31, coffee maker. Yes, really. The idea was that the button would adapt to whatever the agents needed at that moment, controlled by the car's alien AI. Test audiences found this confusing, so they simplified it to just the tunnel sequence. But props from the film, show labels for different button modes that were never used. The dashboard actually had tiny printed instructions in an alien language that, when translated by the film's linguist, described functions like molecular reorganization, gravitational negation, and emergency pizza delivery. The prop department spent weeks creating this detail that appears on screen for less than 2 seconds. Some of these unused functions later appeared in the animated series and video games. Number 17. Real police departments complained about the car's accuracy. Here's something bizarre. Actual police departments contacted the filmmakers because the Men in Black LTD was too accurate. The car used real police spec parts, including the suspension, brakes, and even the spotlight configuration. Several departments were concerned that someone could recreate a fake police car using the film as a guide. The production had hired retired police mechanics to ensure authenticity, and they did their job too well. The car featured the exact same police interceptor package that law enforcement used, down to the reinforced bumpers and heavy-duty cooling system. One detective from the NYPD visited the set and was shocked to find that the car's radio codes and equipment placement matched their actual vehicles. The filmmakers had to add several obvious fake elements in post-production to make it clear this wasn't a real police vehicle. They digitally added extra antennas that no real cop car would have and changed some of the emergency light patterns. The irony? These changes made the car more believable as a high-tech alien vehicle. Sometimes making something less realistic makes it more convincing on screen. Number 16. The tunnel riding scene destroyed 14 stunt cars. That iconic scene where the LTD rides on the tunnel ceiling, it nearly bankrupted the special effects budget. They destroyed 14 identical Ford LTDs trying to get it right. The first attempt used cables and a rotating tunnel set. The car fell and crushed 3 cameras worth $200,000 each. The second method involved mounting a car upside down on a track. It worked until the engine oil leaked into the cylinders and caused a spectacular explosion. They tried magnets, which melted. They tried suction cups, which, well, they sucked, just not in the way they needed. Finally, they built a custom rig that held the car with hydraulic arms painted out in post-production. But here's the weird part. One of the destroyed cars supposedly still worked after filming. A stunt driver started it up as a joke, and despite being upside down for hours and missing most of its undercarriage, it ran perfectly. That car was later sold to a collector who claims it still runs today, though it pulls strongly to the left. The tunnel sequence took 43 days to film for less than 30 seconds of screen time. Number 15. Ford provided 72 identical cars for filming. 72. That's how many identical 1986 Ford LTD Crown Victorias the production used. Ford didn't just lend them cars, they had to source them from police auctions, taxi companies, and private sellers across the country. Each car had to match exactly. Same year, same color, same interior, even the same radio presets. The transportation coordinator had nightmares about keeping track of them all. They were numbered on the inside of the trunk lid, and each had specific modifications. Car number 1 through 10 were hero cars for close-ups. Cars 11 through 20 were stunt vehicles with roll cages. Cars 21 through 30 were effects cars pre-rigged for explosions or transformations. The rest were backups and parts cars. Here's the crazy thing. They lost one. Car number 43 simply vanished from the lot one day. Security footage showed it was there at 6 p.m. and gone by 6 a.m. No evidence of theft. The gate was still locked. It just disappeared. The filmmakers joked that maybe real men in black needed a ride. That car has never been found, and it's become something of a Hollywood legend. Number 14. The dashboard contains references to every alien movie. Before 1997. The production designer hid Easter eggs throughout the LTD's interior, but the dashboard is a masterpiece of sci-fi history. Every button, gauge, and display references a classic alien film. The speedometer goes up to 357, the room number from Close Encounters. The radio frequencies spell out LV-426 from Alien. There's a small gauge labeled Soylent Levels. The glove compartment lock is shaped like the UFO from The Day the Earth Stood Still. Even the air freshener is a tiny replica of the plant from Little Shop of Horrors. But the deepest cut? The serial number on the steering wheel translates to the star date from the Star Trek episode that introduced the Gorn. The attention to detail was insane. The prop master spent 3 months researching and implementing these references. Most are impossible to see without freeze frame, but they created a 40-page document explaining every single one. When Steven Spielberg visited the set, he spent 20 minutes just examining the dashboard, calling out references. He found ones even the designers had forgotten about. This attention to detail influenced how movie cars would be designed for decades afterward. Number 13. The V8 engine sound was actually recorded from a jet engine. Every time the LTD accelerates in the movie, you're not hearing a Ford V8, you're hearing a Pratt & Whitney jet engine mixed with a Lion's roar and a Tesla coil. The sound designer felt that a normal engine sound, even enhanced, wouldn't sell the idea of alien technology, so they got creative. Really creative. They recorded startup sequences from military jets, then pitched them down and layered them with organic sounds. The distinctive whine when the red button is pushed, that's actually a baby elephant call played backward and sped up 400%. The brake sounds combine a school bus air brake with a humpback whale song. For the tunnel sequence, They used recordings from inside a wind tunnel mixed with Buddhist monks chanting. The monks were told they were contributing to a meditation app. The final engine's sound mix contains 47 different audio elements. The sound designer won an award for it, but developed tinnitus from listening to jet engines at close range. He said it was worth it because now every time he hears ringing in his ears, he remembers working on Men in Black. Number 12. The steering wheel was designed by an actual NASA engineer. When production needed someone to design the LTD's transforming steering wheel, they didn't go to a prop maker. They hired a retired NASA engineer who had worked on the Apollo missions. His name was Dr. Richard Holbrook, and he approached the fictional technology like it was real. He created working blueprints that theoretically could function if we had the right materials. The center section that folds away to reveal the flight navigation. He designed it with 17 moving parts that interconnect like a mechanical puzzle. No CGI was used, it's all practical effects. The mechanism was so complex that only one person on set could reset it between takes, and it took 45 minutes each time. Dr. Holbrook insisted on using aerospace-grade aluminum and titanium. The steering wheel alone cost $87,000 to build. Here's the wild part. He also included features that weren't in the script. There's a hidden compartment that opens with a specific sequence of button presses. Inside, he placed a note, "If you're reading this, you're probably not from Earth." The prop is now in a private collection, and yes, the mechanism still works perfectly. Number 11. The license plate changed between shots, due to a continuity error that became canon. Eagle-eyed viewers noticed something strange. The LTD's license plate changes throughout the movie. Sometimes it reads MIB01, other times NYC 7234, and occasionally just government. This wasn't intentional, it was a massive continuity error that somehow nobody caught during filming. Different prop cars had different plates, and nobody kept track. When the editors discovered this in post-production, they panicked. Reshoots would cost millions. Then someone suggested a brilliant solution. Make it a feature, not a bug. They added a brief CG shot of the license plate flickering between different combinations, implying it was adaptive camouflage. The novelization went further, explaining that MIB vehicles automatically generate location-appropriate license plates to avoid suspicion. What started as a mistake became part of the lore. The animated series even had an episode where this feature malfunctions, cycling through increasingly ridiculous plates like Alien Car and Nothing to See Here. Sometimes the best world building comes from covering up mistakes. The sequel included a joke where Agent J complains that his car's plate keeps changing and he keeps getting other agents' parking tickets. Number 10. The car's weight. Made. Several stunts. Impossible. At over 2 tons, the 1986 Ford LTD Crown Victoria was not built for action sequences. The stunt coordinators discovered this the hard way when they tried to film a simple jump. The car landed so hard it compressed the suspension permanently, making it 3 inches shorter. They had to completely rethink their approach to action scenes. The weight wasn't just from the car itself. The prop department had added nearly 500 pounds of alien technology. Steel plates simulated armor, lead weights balanced the transforming parts. The dashboard alone weighed 80 pounds. One stunt driver described it as trying to make a refrigerator do ballet. They had to use nitrogen-powered rams for any jumping stunts because the car was too heavy to get airborne naturally. The tunnel ceiling sequence required reinforced steel tracks rated for 3 tons. During one take, the weight caused a section of the set to collapse. Nobody was hurt, but it delayed filming for a week. The irony? In the film's universe, the car supposedly uses anti-gravity technology. In reality, it was fighting gravity every second. This influenced the sequel's decision to use lighter, more modern vehicles. Number 9. A real MIB LTD was listed for sale with certificate of authenticity. In 2010, something incredible appeared on eBay. An actual screen-used Men in Black Ford LTD. Not a replica. Not a similar car. The actual hero car number 3 used in close-ups complete with certificate of authenticity from Columbia Pictures. The seller was asking $150,000. It came with the original title proving chain of custody from Ford to the production company to a private collector. The car included all its movie modifications, the working red button, though sadly not connected to rocket boosters, the transforming dashboard, even the alien air freshener. But here's where it gets weird. The buyer, who remains anonymous, claimed that strange things started happening after the purchase. The radio would turn on by itself, always tuned to static. The odometer would occasionally run backward. The red button, which wasn't connected to anything, would sometimes glow faintly at night. The new owner posted about these experiences on a classic car forum before deleting their account. The car hasn't been seen publicly since. Columbia Pictures claims they don't know who bought it. Some fans speculate it was a publicity stunt. Others wonder if maybe, just maybe, someone needed their car back. Number 8. The LTD appeared in Universal Studios' Men in Black Alien Attack ride. When Universal Studios Florida opened their Men in Black ride in 2000, they needed authentic props. Columbia Pictures provided several screen-used items, including Hero Car Number 7. But the car wasn't just decoration, it became part of the ride experience. Guests passed by it in the queue, and if you know where to look, you can spot details from the film. The dashboard still has all its alien modifications. Maintenance workers report that the car's electronics occasionally activate on their own. The headlights turn on, the radio plays static. One night, a guard claims he saw the red button glowing. Universal's official position is that these are atmospheric effects, but employees aren't so sure. Here's the strangest part. The car's odometer keeps adding miles despite never moving. When it arrived, it showed 34,562 miles. Today, over 45,000. The tires show no additional wear. Maintenance logs confirm the car hasn't been moved since installation. Some employees joke that it takes itself for drives after the park closes. Others aren't entirely sure it's a joke. The car remains one of the most photographed props in the park, with thousands of guests posing next to it daily, unaware of its mysterious behavior. Number 7. The animated series. Feature the LTD in every episode. When Men in Black the series premiered on Kids WB, the creators made sure the LTD was a character in its own right. It appeared in all 53 episodes, often with abilities never shown in the film. The animated LTD could transform into a boat, a plane, even a spaceship. It had an AI personality that would argue with Agent J. One episode revealed the car's origin story. It was built from the remains of a crashed alien vessel. The animators studied the real car extensively, measuring every angle in detail. They wanted the animated version to be perfect, but they also took creative liberties. The animated LTD had a cloaking device, force fields, and a self-repair function. It could split into multiple vehicles or combine with other MIB cars to form a giant robot. Yes, really. The show's writers created a 200-page technical manual for the animated car, detailing all its functions and limitations. This wasn't published, but was used to maintain consistency. Some of these ideas influenced the sequel films. The concept of MIB vehicles having personalities was explored in Men in Black 2. The animated series proved that the LTD had become as iconic as the agents themselves. Even in animation, that boring-looking Ford was the star. Number 6. Mercedes-Benz. Paid millions to replace the Ford in the sequel. For Men in Black 2, something shocking happened. No Ford LTD. Instead, Agent J drove a 2003 Mercedes-Benz E500. This wasn't a creative decision, it was pure business. Mercedes-Benz reportedly paid $12 million for product placement rights. Ford was offered the chance to match but declined. The producers tried to justify it story-wise, saying technology had advanced, but fans weren't happy. The Mercedes, while beautiful, lacked the charm of the original's ugly duckling appeal. It was too nice, too obviously expensive for a secret organization trying to blend in. The backlash was immediate and harsh. Fan sites created petitions demanding the return of the Ford. Some theaters reported audiences booing when the Mercedes appeared. The toy sales tell the story. Men in Black 2. Mercedes models sold poorly, while original LTD toys saw a surge in demand. By Men in Black 3, they'd learned their lesson. While the agents drove modern Ford Tauruses, the film included several references to the classic LTDs. A warehouse scene showed dozens of retired LTDs, with Agent J commenting, "I miss the old cars." Sometimes you can't improve on an icon, even if someone pays you $12 million to try. Number 5. The video game version could transform into 12 different vehicles. Men in Black 2, Alien Escape. For PlayStation 2, featured the Ford LTD as a playable vehicle with abilities that would make James Bond jealous. Players could transform it into a helicopter, submarine, drilling machine, even a giant mechanical spider. The game developers worked with the film's production designers to ensure consistency, but they were given creative freedom to expand the car's capabilities. Each transformation had its own detailed animation sequence. The developers motion captured an actual LTD being disassembled and reassembled to make the transformations realistic. Well, as realistic as a car turning into a spider can be. The game's manual included technical specifications for each form, written as if they were real MIB documents. Players could unlock new transformations by finding alien artifacts. The final form? A massive flying fortress that required all previous transformations to be mastered. Here's the interesting part. Some of these transformations influenced the animated series. The submarine mode appeared in a Season 3 episode. The spider configuration was referenced in a comic book. The game proved that fans wanted to see more of the LTD's potential. It wasn't just transportation, it was a Swiss Army knife of alien technology. Number 4. The base model. Had a 5-liter V8, but police preferred the 5.7. Let's talk specs for a moment. The civilian 1986 Ford LTD Crown Victoria came with a 5-liter V8 engine producing about 150 horsepower, adequate for cruising to church on Sunday, but the police Interceptor version, which the MIB car was based on, packed a 5.7-liter V8. That's 351 cubic inches of American muscle, producing around 180 horsepower. The police version also had a modified transmission, heavy-duty cooling system, and certified calibrated speedometer. The suspension was completely different: stiffer springs, larger anti-roll bars, and reinforced mounting points. Brakes were larger with semi-metallic pads designed for pursuit driving. Even the electrical system was upgraded to handle additional equipment. For the film, they used a mix of both versions. Hero cars were civilian models for comfort during dialogue scenes. Stunt cars were police interceptors for performance. This created continuity challenges. The cars sat at different heights due to suspension differences. They had to digitally adjust some shots to match. The sound department recorded both engines and mixed them for consistency. Fun fact, the police Interceptor version could reach 120 miles per hour, while the civilian model topped out at 105. In the film, the LTD supposedly hits 350, movie magic at its finest. Number 3. Only one sedan in the franchise. Had special effects gadgetry. Here's something most fans don't realize. The Ford LTD remains the only sedan in the entire Men in Black franchise to feature transforming special effects gadgetry. Every other MIB vehicle, the Mercedes in Part 2, the Ford Taurus in Part 3, even the motorcycles, used pure CGI for any special abilities. The LTD's practical effects made it unique. The transforming dashboard, the extending exhaust ports, the rotating light arrays, all mechanical, all real. This wasn't by choice. CGI in 1997 was expensive and limited. Practical effects were actually cheaper, but they created something special. The physical mechanisms gave weight and reality to the transformations. You could hear gears turning, see parts actually moving. The props department created 17 different mechanical rigs for various transformations. Some worked once and broke. Others performed flawlessly, take after take. The Hero car's dashboard mechanism still works today, 27 years later. When they tried to recreate this for the sequels using CGI, something was lost. The Mercedes transformation in Part 2 looked slick but felt weightless. Fans could tell the difference. There's a reason the LTD remains the most memorable MIB vehicle. You can't fake the satisfaction of actual moving parts. Number 2. Movie's promotional tagline was "Technology from the whole universe in a Ford P.O.S." Ford's marketing department faced a unique challenge. How do you promote a car that your star calls a piece of, well, you know? Their solution was genius. They embraced it. The official promotional campaign included posters with the tagline, "Technology from the whole universe in a Ford P.O.S." They turned an insult into a selling point. Print ads showed the LTD with the caption, "So advanced, even aliens choose Ford." TV commercials featured the transformation sequence with text reading, "Your Ford probably can't do this, probably." They even created a limited edition brochure for Ford dealerships styled like a MIB classified document. But the masterstroke was a contest where 20 lucky winners could test drive screen-used LTDs at a closed track. The catch? They had to sign a waiver saying they wouldn't push any red buttons. Over 1 million people entered. The campaign worked brilliantly. Ford reported increased interest in Crown Victorias, especially from police departments who appreciated the free publicity. One dealer in Texas claimed he sold 17 black LTDs in the week after the movie opened, all to customers who asked if they came with the red button. The answer was no, but he threw in fuzzy dice shaped like aliens. Number 1. The original car was symbolic of MIB's core concept. Here's the deepest truth about the Men in Black Ford LTD. It perfectly embodied the film's central theme. The Men in Black hide extraordinary secrets behind ordinary facades. They wear plain black suits. They operate from a hidden base. And they drive the most boring car possible. The LTD wasn't just transportation, it was a metaphor. Director Barry Sonnenfeld said choosing this car was one of his most important decisions. It had to be mundane enough to be invisible, but distinctive enough to be memorable. It had to look like it belonged to government agents, but not scream federal vehicle. It had to be old enough to be uncool, but new enough to be reliable. The 1986 Crown Victoria hit every mark. Think about the genius of it. In a world of flying saucers and alien technology, the most advanced vehicle looks like something from a rental fleet. It's the same philosophy behind the entire MIB organization. The flashy neuralizer hidden in a pen, the massive alien monitoring station behind a jewelry shop. The Ford LTD taught audiences to look closer at the ordinary world. Maybe that boring sedan in traffic isn't what it seems. Maybe that unremarkable government building holds secrets. Maybe the most interesting things hide in plain sight. That's the real legacy of the Men in Black Ford LTD. Not the special effects or the jokes, but the idea that amazing things can hide in ordinary packages. And that's our list of 20 weird facts about the Men in Black Ford LTD. Which fact surprised you the most? Did you know about the NASA engineer or the 72 identical cars? Drop your favorite MIB car moment in the comments below. And hey, if you see a black Crown Victoria with tinted windows in your rearview mirror, maybe let them pass. You never know who might be driving. If you enjoyed this deep dive into movie car history, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We've got more incredible behind-the-scenes stories coming your way. Until next time, keep watching the skies and the roads.